I hate Blizzard. Yeah, I know, right? Shocker. Blizzard is a company I don't have much experience with, to be honest. If anything, I would treat our relationship like it's a ugly best friend of the woman that I actually want. Unlike most companies, I usually have a mutual relationship with. It's a love-hate relationship. I can still accept them for all the stupid shit they do, like Nintendo and even Microsoft, and God forbid, you guys know, I fucking hate Nintendo. However, Blizzard is a company I don't have much experience with. I only played a handful of their games, mainly just Overwatch. That was a lie. I've only played Overwatch. So when I see Blizzard do stupid shit, it doesn't hurt as bad, yet it's also fucking aggravating, to say the least. Because again, my relationship with Blizzard isn't quite a normal one. It's more like I love the woman that I'm trying to get, which is Overwatch, the woman I'm trying to love, but her ugly, disgusting, fat-ass friend just continuously gets in my way. Now you may ask yourself, why am I talking about Blizzard today? Well, recently, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Jeff Kaplan, God rest his soul, for all the bullshit that Blizzard has put this man through, finally revealed why he quit back in, I think, 2020, around the time Overwatch 2 was in development and it was finna release. What I found very funny was that he said the exact things that are very atypical of Activision Blizzard, and that was the way they treated him during his time near the end of it, especially while working on Overwatch specifically. They always mention things to him about Overwatch not hitting the numbers. If Overwatch doesn't hit these numbers, we're gonna lay off 1,000 fucking people. How cartoonishly evil do you have to be to dangle these fucking people's careers over your director's face like it's a fucking carrot with a rabbit on a wheel or some shit? Dude, are you actually kidding me? It's so cartoonishly evil. It doesn't even sound real. Seriously. And Jeff Kaplan is such a cool fucking guy, man. He's such a great developer, a very talented developer, a very talented director. He did a lot of carrying for Overwatch. He did a lot for Overwatch, okay, man? The amount of weight that this man was pulling to salvage Overwatch, the massive size of this man's cock is fucking insane, okay? This guy was absolutely putting it out for Overwatch, man. He was doing everything he could to make Overwatch as great as possible. And yet, these fucking numbnuts at Blizzard, Bobby Kotick, the cunt himself, just proceeds to just be the most corporate and again cartoonishly evil masterminds that you will ever meet in your life, man. I don't know why specifically this company has went so terribly in the past few years, but it just has. And to say that Blizzard is evil is an understatement. Because back in 2020, if you guys didn't know, I'm going to vent my previous history with these guys, because I have saved this internally for a while now. I've told multiple people in the past that know me personally how I feel about Activision Blizzard and specifically. And I find Blizzard to be absolutely disgusting with all the allegations that happened during 2020 with the whole strikes and stuff. The fact that they were stealing breast milk, the fact that there was the Bill Cosby suite. I mean, there was some absolutely fucking asinine fucking, like, again, evil shit. And like, there were actually people who were defending this on Twitter, and that just like it broke the camel's back. I mean, the camel is in the fucking ground at this point with how retarded some of these people were saying. Like, some of the stupid shit that was coming out of their mouth holes, I could not believe. And now to see this years later, to finally get this truth revealed situation, like we're playing a board game of Clue, it just shows me how much that company acts like they changed, how these big corporations act like they care about the consumers, how they act like they know what the hell they're talking about when really they don't, and they treat their developers and the people who actually make these games like fucking slaves. They treat these people like they're shit, even though they're the golden goose. Like, even Jeff Kaplan himself mentioned it. He said, why would you want to screw up your golden goose? Why would you want to screw up the one thing that's working for you? And that's facts. Almost every WoW developer within the past years has been laid off. Almost every original Overwatch developer has been laid off. The entire teams at these games have completely shifted and changed. There's barely anybody that's left that's been with the game since the beginning. Now you could argue that, these people are allowed to move on and do their own things, and you are true. These people are allowed to live their lives and, do fruitful careers. But I highly doubt that some of these people quit willingly. I have a sneaking suspicion that most of them were called into an office, okay? Then they were proceeded to tell them to open their mouths, and then the CEO whips out his fucking penis, and he just starts mouth fucking them. I'm serious, man, because, like, that's what it feels like. It feels like for a while now, all these companies have been doing to their employees, the people who actually make the games, the people who actually do what they make the games. They're just getting they're just getting ass fucked. Like, it's insane to me. Like, game development as a whole has become so toxic. There are few exceptions, of course, always. There's actually good development studios that make good games and have good parent companies. I think PlayStation is one of the goodest ones. PlayStation, yeah, they just closed down Bluepoint recently, and that was a whole thing. But I think working under PlayStation, especially like Bungie, for example, the shit that Bungie gets away with, or at least they used to get away with, we'll see if they get away with it in the future. I have a little bit of hope in PlayStation to at least crack the whip on Bungie, but only time will tell. However, let's get back to fucking Blizzard. The launch of Overwatch 2 was trash. It was absolutely stupid. It did not need a sequel. Overwatch did not need the 2. The 2 was useless. The 2 meant nothing. I don't know what the 2 meant. Probably the 2 fucks that somebody gave, but it sure as shit wasn't me. It was something. It was nothing. That's all it was. That's all Overwatch was. Overwatch 2 was nothing. It was a waste of time. And I will give Blizzard credit. Within the past few weeks, they have gotten Overwatch back on track, which is good. But I have a firm belief that some things you just cannot be forgiven for, and the amount of shit that was going on at Activision Blizzard actually made me stop fucking with their games for a very long time. I did not play Activision's games for a while, at least for a good 2.5 years. I didn't play a single Call of Duty. I didn't play any of their sports games. I didn't play Overwatch. I didn't play a lot of games from Activision or Blizzard for a while because that's how much I stood on business. Me personally, if I don't respect the person who's making the art, if I don't respect the person who's making the stuff, and I don't know the whole argument of, well, you need to separate the art from the artist, and I get that for certain occasions. If they do some petty shit or something, I'm fine with letting it go, especially something like an artist like Bruno Mars. Bruno Mars got a lot of serious allegations back in the day for him doing, stuff to women, pills and, knocking them out and this and that there. But I still listen to his music. You get me? So, but Overwatch and Blizzard games in general, I just tended to just stay away from. One, because I was fucking off doing other stuff. I mean, God forbid I was playing Apex, a game that's made by EA, and I can make a whole other video about how evil EA is. In general, most of these big companies are evil as fuck. I think most people can agree with that to a certain extent. I think all of them inherently probably have a problem, you know what I mean? However, Blizzard was one of my biggest ops, to say the least. I was actually sick of Blizzard shit, and I didn't really like their games, so it was just a perfect excuse for me to not really play poop-ass Overwatch during its time where it didn't get an update for about 1.5 years. And that was a rough time for those Overwatch fans. However, I would say Overwatch is in a good spot. But to see Jeff Kaplan come out and say this, I appreciate you. I appreciate that man for doing this. Because it just shows me that some of these developers are holding back from the things that they want to say. And I feel bad for people who aren't allowed to critique their workplaces. I feel like people should be able to critique their workplaces even if they work there or not. That's the point of being in the United States and having the freedom of speech. Now I understand the freedom of speech has its limits and people have a right to fire you if they want to. But most of the time, these people get fired for unjustified reasons. It's almost like what happened with Rockstar. People haven't quite figured out why exactly those people got fired at Rockstar, but it could be a whole, list of things, man. You may never know what it is. Somebody might have stole somebody's tuna salad from the company fridge. I mean, it could have been a whole thing. However, I just don't, man. This is a big old oopsie poopsie on Blizzard's end, and I've been wanting to rant about Blizzard for a while, and to see this come out recently just makes me despise Blizzard even more. And I have played Overwatch recently on stream, but man, I still don't like not Overwatch. I actually kind of fuck with Overwatch, but I don't know. I don't really fuck with Blizzard. I never have. I never been too deep into not console, but PC gaming. I grew up playing consoles, so never played WoW. Never played what's the other one? I don't even remember. StarCraft, that's the one. StarCraft and Diablo. Those are all mostly PC games for PC audiences. I think Overwatch, I would argue, was the first game from Blizzard to actually reach a wide audience, and it helped that it got a console release. I don't quite know if Diablo got a console release or StarCraft got a console release before Overwatch, and I feel like if it did, it might have been on the original Xbox, because Microsoft back in the day used to have really good ties with Blizzard and used to get exclusives and stuff. So if that's the case, then that's part of what happened. However, like I said, Blizzard's games and their track record aside, I know that they have a very, very expanded past. I know they've made a lot of great games, and people used to be a lot of big fans of Blizzard. And I think that's the worst part. If I was a Blizzard fan, I think I would be even more sad about how bad the company, how down bad the company has gotten for the past few years. I heard Diablo 4 was mediocre as fuck. I heard I experienced Overwatch 2, oh god. Almost every World of Warcraft fan or streamer that I watch who plays the game is absolutely tired of it. So it seems like to me that Blizzard is out of touch, and I've heard a lot of people say that, and I agree. I think Blizzard is way out of touch. I think they are far beyond out of touch. I mean, come on, really? The Bill Cosby suite? Are you serious? And this shit matter of fact, no, I'm gonna go on another rant. The shit that they did to try to represent all these actually evil shit was, oh, we're gonna change McCree's name. Okay, sure, cool. Yeah, it's good job, man. Oh, fuck. Go, Todd. Yeah, man. That's a great idea. He probably said it in the boardroom, and everybody stood up and said, oh, and started clapping. Come on, man. Change the character's name in the virtual video game. That's really gonna help. Oh, man, that's gonna really help all these women that got abused. Oh, totally. All these women that got sexually assaulted. That's definitely gonna help the situation. Bar none, right? As you can tell, I've had a lot to say, and that's because it's been building over time, and I've been finding a good excuse to kind of, drive this car into that turning lane to talk about Blizzard, and I think this is a good opportunity to talk about Blizzard and my history with them and what I think about them in general, and to say the least, I'm not very impressed. I just never grew up with them, unfortunately, and I know a lot of people did, and if you were a fan of Blizzard, and maybe even you are still a fan of Blizzard, none of these comments are aimed at you. It's just aimed at the big evil corporation. You know me. I'm the little guy punching up, defending the people who actually make these games, and I'm mostly punching upwards towards the suits and shit because they piss me off, and I don't work for them, so I can critique them all I want. I don't care. I have a free will on this platform to talk about whatever I want, especially if it's not breaking TSA. And TSA isn't broken by me talking about how evil Bobby Kotick is, to say the least. But yeah, I think that's all I have for today. I just wanted to rant about Blizzard for a little bit and talk about how cartoonishly evil this company is. And they continuously prove to me every day why they are going to be probably my least favorite developer that I've associated with by playing some of their games. I hate Nintendo. I do. I despise Nintendo. And hate's a strong word, I know. And there's very few companies I hate. I hate Nintendo and I hate Blizzard. I actually don't hate Microsoft or Xbox. I might talk about them a lot, but I don't hate them. Within the gaming sphere, I don't actually hate Microsoft or Xbox. I mean, clearly you guys know this because I have a Windows PC. I have a history with Xbox, so I can respect them to a certain degree. But if you're a Blizzard fan, and all this shit's been happening for the past few years, I feel bad for you, man. There's a whole wide world of games out there, and if a Blizzard game is truly your favorite game, I can't take that away from you. However, man, God, those people are fucking evil. Well, mainly the suits. The suits are fucking evil, in my opinion. Anyways, though, yep, that's about it. So, see ya.